What is going on, everybody? We are back with episode 7. I know you just saw our beautiful faces last night. Probably the best looking podcast on Dolphins Twitter right now. I know you don't have to say it, but we are on episode 7. This is quote unquote emergency podcast. We saw something really cool. We saw a punter, undrafted free agent, Kyle Ulbrich. He was out, campaigning for himself to make a team. He does have the stats to back that up, and we will get into that. But how you boys feeling today? How's the Bahamas, Joe Robert? We know you're gonna rub it in our face, but it's fine.
No, it's a tough life. It rained twice today. I persevered. A couple of dirt patches in on the patio, but we're gonna be okay.
Bobby?
Yeah, doing good. Excited to hear Kyle's story. I know I woke up this morning, I was wiping the sleep out of my eyes, making some coffee, and I was like, who is this kid in front of the facility? And then I read it and read the story, and it was awesome, man. I reached out to him immediately and was like, dude, we got to get you on the podcast. We got to help you any way we can. So, here we are.
Bobby Beats, the beat reporter that nobody knows.
Bobby Beats, Bobby Sauces. Well, I guess we'll get it all kicked off here. We'll get the intro going, and we'll have Kyle up when we get back. Let's go, Bobby.
I'm putting the helmet on as always.
The opportunity is right now.
Terrific defensive play. Intercepted. Off the back. On the move. Going deep. Speed race. He's got Hill. He's got Hill. The Dolphins have recaptured the lead.
Good evening, Dolphins Twitter. We are back. I know that we were here yesterday, but we saw something pretty cool today. Undrafted free agent Kyle Ulbrich was out campaigning for himself to be on an NFL team just as training camps start. We now have Kyle on the podcast to tell his story and just tell us a little bit about what we saw today, you know, those viral clips, the viral tweets. But Kyle, I know that you had a long day so far, probably a heck of a day, but how's everything going, man?
It's going well. It's a very unexpected turn of events that happened today, and I couldn't be happier for it.
Well, dude, we're happy to have you on, and you know it's a very interesting story. We usually love to do a ton of background and whatnot, but we didn't have too much time today. But we really want to hear what you're about, what you were doing today, and just like your plans moving forward. This is a really cool story, I think, and we're happy to give you the platform.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like you guys saw the stats. Played 4 years at Middle Tennessee. 2 years before that were at Valpo. And, well, I mean, if I'm just taking it back, when I was at Valparaiso, Northwest Indiana School, it's a sub-Division I FCS. And, I was there, and my whole idea behind, going from Valpo to a bigger school was that, I wanted to, if I did everything I was capable of doing there, if I, set their school records, if I was all conference there, if I did all the things, if I achieved all the goals I set out for myself, there was a chance that the NFL would still elude me there. And, I made a decision, it was a rough one. My dad and we made it together, and, I decided to transfer. The process between transferring there was, it was a rough road, and, it tested my faith, but, like the same situation I'm in now, I went about 6 months about 6 months from when the season ended, because FCS, if you don't make the playoff, you end about a little bit before December. And it took about 5-6 months for me to get a email from Rick Stockstill, the head coach at Middle Tennessee State. And he found me in a fluke email. It's just one of those things. And, he took a shot on me. And the only reason I'm saying this is because he found me completely by accident. He stumbled across my email. It was in the spam folder. A meeting had come up, and he wasn't supposed to see the email. It was from one of those mass football, you pay them $50 a month. They'll send your information everywhere.
Yeah.
So he brought me in the office, and I didn't hear that story until I think it was my junior year, but he brought me in the office. He called me up. He said they didn't have a scholarship, all this other kinds of stuff. And when I was at training camp, it was my first official visit with them. He pulled me to the side. He was like, "Hey," so he pointed to the punter out there because they were doing punt. I was in the parking lot, and he was like, "Can you beat him out?" And I'm like, I didn't want to sound arrogant. I'm like, "Oh no, it would be a close competition, all of this other kinds of stuff." I didn't want to sound arrogant or cocky in front of the guy who may be my coach. And he said, "No, if I'm bringing you on as a walk on, I want to know you can beat him out or you're not coming." And I kind of crap my pants in front of him, and I'm like, "Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. I can beat him out. I can do that. I would take care of it." And I was waiting on my waiver eligibility to come through. Daryl Simpson was the guy in control of that in Middle Tennessee, and he was great throughout the process. He got me my NCAA waiver because this was before the portal was a thing. He got me in, and I got my waiver 15 days before we kicked off week 1 against Michigan. And Rick Stockstill, Coach Stock, he told me, "Hey, it's nothing against you. We're not bringing you in until we get your waiver because that's one less guy we're going to have on the roster. So until then, we can't bring you on." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that makes sense." So when I got my waiver, my dad and I packed up my stuff, and I'm like, "All right, I'm going to college. If I got to get a hotel, they can't bring me on. It's that's just how it's going to be. I'm going to have to put that hotel on the credit card and just kind of pay it off, at one point down the road." And it was a similar situation of how today went. Somebody went down or somebody transferred. I forget the exact story, and they were able to get me in. It was 2 weeks or 10 days before we kicked off against Michigan, and I mean, I got in there, and the 2 punters at the time will tell you it was because of 1 punt, but I won the starting competition against both those guys. One was a 3-year player. The other one was a 5-star freshman punter, which isn't the same as, athletes, but a 5-star freshman punter and a 3-year incumbent. I beat them out in 10 days. And that's just kind of the story of, everything I've accomplished. I've always kind of squeaked in, it's, if I done something, it's because I made it that way. I had everything stacked against me, and I took a few things that lined up, and I just ran with it. You can't, if you're coming in 10 days into camp, you don't have the luxury of making mistakes. You can't go out there, have a bad practice. I got stuck with the 3rd string long snapper. He wasn't a long snapper. He was a tight end. So that's who I was taking reps with. And, I can't blame it on him. And, 4 years go by, and, I promised Rick Stockstill I would win the Ray Guy, and I would be the first award winner coming out of that school, and I would be All-American. Well, I fractured I had a hairline fracture in my hip my senior year, so I don't want to blame it on that, but it kind of pushed me back a little bit. So my senior year, I set the school record the year before that, and my senior year, I was 0.2 yards away my sophomore year from going back to back to back. But it was I promised him all of these things, and I left there a little disappointed that I couldn't bring him the Ray Guy or bring him an All-American. Plus, that would have helped my odds at the NFL. But it's I got out of the process, and I think it was 2nd all-time well, 2 guys are tied for 1st, so it's technically tied. I'm 3rd place for FBS bowl game performances as a punter. And, coming out of that performance, the Hawaii Bowl, my final game, I left on top. And a week before, I got a call from a pretty good agency. They were like, "Hey, we would love to have you. We would just like to sign you today, get everything finalized and go from there." And I'm like, I've always been told stay away from agents until you're done like until you're out, you played your final game. So I shot myself in the foot there. I turned a really good agent down. I didn't get any Senior Bowl invites despite finishing 2nd in the nation, leading 50-plus yard punts, tied for 6 inside the 20 punts, and I think it was top 10 or something in that. But stats are stats. People can say you played Group of 5 football, but I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. And I mean, it was just the process didn't go the way I had hoped. Obviously, I've been unemployed, football or a normal job, for the past 2 years. I can't even land something part-time right now. And, it's just, I took a shot in the dark, and the way things happened today, I mean, I couldn't be more thankful for it. the fiance and I, I said earlier today, somebody was doing a paper, and I told him, I'm like, me and the boys were just joshing around. We were like, no, I mean, why not? I mean, I got nothing to lose. Why not camp outside of the Dolphin Stadium? Jake Bailey's not a bad punter. He's not a bad punter by any means. He was, I think it was 2020 All-Pro, Pro Bowl punter. But, I mean, everybody sometimes needs a challenge. And, if they can bring me in, whether it's a workout, whether they give me 3 punts, directional left, directional right, and straight down the middle as an inside the 20 punt. If I only get 3 punts, I only get 3 punts. If I get none, I get none. But this is just something, when you have nothing left to lose, you have nothing left to lose. So I just figured it was one of those things. Last second Hail Mary, Beyonce and I both agreed this was our final year of me, going to all of these free agent combines, going out to Arizona, San Diego. I think there's 2 in Arizona actually, but going to all of these camps. I think I spent and put 10 grand on the credit card last year, just flights, camp costs, hotels, Ubers, all that kinds of stuff. And being unemployed 2 years, yet alone being in college as a walk-on for your first 4 years, I have negative money, so I can't be doing all that. So, I mean, it was either now or never. And the fact that it blew up today, I mean, that's a sign from a higher power that maybe things are falling in the right direction for me, or maybe I just hit a stroke of good luck. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, I couldn't be more thankful for it. I mean, if I get 0 punts and I can find, maybe I get an agent out of this, or maybe I get a call from a UFL team out of this, or maybe I do stick with the Dolphins. Because, I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't know I have the capabilities of being an all-pro punter. And I know right now, if I were to step into the shoes of Jake Bailey, and if I were to take over as a starting punter as the Dolphins, they would, in my opinion, they would receive an all-pro punter. But, I mean, that's up for me to prove, and that's up for them to give me the opportunity to prove myself. It's not arrogance or cockiness. I mean, I've been doing this for 2 years. Anybody who has taken 2 years to do anything 4 days out of the week, I mean, you should have confidence in what you do, or you just wasted your time for the past 2 years. So, I mean, that's pretty much my story in a nutshell. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too long, or
Hey,
go in
listen,
spurts.
we're literally here for you, brother. Like,
Yeah,
we're
this is
here
your
for
show,
you.
man.
Like,
This is for you.
like I had no idea who Kyle Ulbrich was until this afternoon. Like, this is so cool for us. Like, we're so used to like studying these guys' backgrounds, these NFL guys that we've had on, and it's so cool to get somebody who's just trying to get some 1% chance in the NFL, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
my question to you was like, why Miami? Like, what made you decide to go to Miami and just sit in the front, like a homeless man with all these signs and all these stats? Like, it's just nuts to me. Like, is there a reason you chose Miami?
No, I mean, it was the closest city, to me. In my opinion, if you put me against any NFL punter, this is arrogant. I will say I can beat anybody out. It's arrogant in saying that, but you got to have the confidence. So I figured, Miami's 4 hours away. I'll drive up, and like I
If
was
you
saying,
don't
I
mind
was
me
just joshing.
interjecting, 4 hours from where? Where are you staying?
I live in Key West with the fiance right now.
Dang, the retired life already?
Yeah, that explains why I can't find a part-time job, or any job for the matter. But yeah, I mean, it's been a ride. I'll tell you guys that much. I'm just happy, I've had the fiance help me through everything. I mean, she's been my rock for sure.
We can see the signs here that our producer Eric pulled up. Sanders, I can hold your balls better. I see QR codes on here. What do the QR codes bring you to if you were to scan that?
I don't think they work on Twitter. If you screenshot them and then go through your photos, it should take you to the YouTube. I should have figured out a better way to do it, or put my YouTube highlight. It's just highlights. It's just the combines I've been to, and my senior year highlights. So that's all it is. It's not like a website. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. Honestly, that's the furthest thing from what I want to do. I'm not. If you guys hadn't already known, based off the 5 seconds of looking at any of my social media, I am off of social media. I mean, this is like an 80-year-old man just chicken pecking the phone. I mean, I'm not on the stuff. So, I mean, the fact that it blew up the way it did is mind blowing. That I actually got the QR codes to work and all that. Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And you were talking about highlights. Speaking of highlights, like, what's some of your longest punts?
I think I could be wrong in saying this. I know I had the 75 against FIU my first year at MTSU. I believe I had another 75. I think that one was against Marshall my sophomore year.
Mhm.
And I could be wrong. I think it's a 74-yard punt, WKU, and then my senior year, yeah, that one's Hawaii. Not a bad inside the 20 punt.
At the Rock.
Yeah, at the Hard Rock.
So you've punted at Hard Rock too. So I mean, that's a it counts. It's something. It counts for something.
Yeah, before the Hawaii Bowl, that was the best game I've ever had. So I'm not saying anything to Dolphins fans, but the cards are stacking.
But that's what one of his sons said, undefeated at Hard Rock.
Yeah, hey, I'm just putting stats out there. I'm not trying to make claims saying MTSU is better than Miami. I mean, you guys have the national championships. We have a few conference championships. That's not what I'm saying. I personally am 1-0 at the Hard Rock. That's just a stat. That means nothing. But hey, if I get on the Dolphins and all of a sudden we don't lose a game at home, I'm 9 or 10-0, depending on what shift of the schedule they got.
Hey, there you go.
I got a question. You brought it up before, and it's a really interesting point, and it kind of goes into just a little bit of football talk here. People were like, you played basically group of 5 football, it wasn't SEC or anything like that. Now, obviously I never played Division I football, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. If you were is special teams something that you could transfer? Because I feel like, you get a kicker anywhere who's making, 50, 55-yard kicks. You get a punter from anywhere who's making 60-yard punts, averaging almost 50 yards a punt. Leading the nation inside the 20, leading the nation in 50-yard plus punts. Do you feel like that is something that is transferable? Like that is one of the few things that you could transfer to really any conference or power conference or top 5 conference? Yeah. Just your perspective on that.
Yeah, in my opinion, I would say that is something that's transferable. My senior year, I actually thought about transferring. We didn't know if I'd be able to get the waiver or not. I had a few schools lined up, but ultimately, I had a dog and I just started dating who would end up being my fiance. So, it was a blessing in disguise not to transfer. And I think stuff like that, you can transfer it over. And in my opinion, sometimes it's a little harder to wake up for a 3-5 matchup versus Middle Tennessee or versus New Mexico State when you're getting 5,000 to 10,000 people at a game versus, you're playing let's say 4:00 game, Alabama, Missouri, at least, even if they're not selling out, you're still getting 80,000. So like you have the juices flowing, you have the adrenaline. I mean, if you're a specialist, you got to bring it no matter who's there, who's watching and all that kinds of stuff. It's all a mindset. And, it doesn't matter if there's 100,000 or, 5,000, you just got to bring it. And that's why I think if you're good enough, you're mentally strong enough, it's transferable 100% through and through.
So let's say Coach McDaniel gets a hold of this. I need your elevator pitch right now.
Oh, man, I gotta sit up for that one. If McDaniel, if he gets a hold of this, I just, I know he was a walk-on at Yale, and I know, he fought for that opportunity. He was one of the smartest guys on the team, and that's what got him playing time, is that he knew the game. He knew his position better than anybody else. And, when you're undersized and, I don't think he was a top recruiter or anything, he's a smart kid. Obviously he went to Yale. And, when you're doing that as a younger guy, I think him especially would understand just opportunities. They don't, you're not asking for a handout. You're asking for an opportunity. And sometimes they do go hand in hand, but it's just, offering another person the opportunity that either you were handed or you weren't handed. And, if I were to become a coach and I were to not offer a kid, I think, based on the experiences I've had in the past, I don't, considering the opportunities that Coach Stock and coaches in the past have given me from a kid who frankly shouldn't have been where I, got to if it wasn't for my hard work and dedication, it's opportunities that made me. I mean, you can be the best athlete in the world. If you don't get your shot, you're just running routes on air on the field. You're just kicking balls to nobody. You're just going down the field and bringing them back. You can't prove yourself. And, you can go to all of these things, all these combines, and all of this other kinds of stuff. But, the real ability to prove yourself in a competition setting, I mean, that's all I'm asking for. And, whether it's a genuine opportunity or whether it's, they're just going to bring me in the door and give me 3 reps, or maybe it's one of those things like maybe they don't want me. And, Jake Bailey has a big signing bonus. I understand that. And I understand the way football works. And, I've screwed over my Madden teams plenty of times by signing guys and cutting them in the same year, So I understand how that can affect the team. And, if it's just helping me out, whether, that Dolphins thing can get me my foot in the door for a UFL thing, or, maybe something accidental happens and, they need a punter this season. Well, maybe if I prove myself enough, I'd be the ones they call. I'm not asking to be put on a pedestal above Jake Bailey because I can sit in a lawn chair outside of Hard Rock. I mean, he was a Stanford punter. He's a very smart guy. He's a very good punter. And, I don't think this is me dogging Jake Bailey. I don't think that's anything like that. And, I just think it's me asking for an opportunity. I see a guy, I can compete with, and in my opinion, arrogance or whatever it's called, in my opinion, I can compete with all 32, whether I actually can or whether I'm just, talking out of my, rear end. So I just think, it's just an opportunity, that's all I'm asking for. And, I believe personally I can be an all-pro punter. I mean, this year I can put the ball on the sideline 9 out of 10 times, 45, 50 yards downfield. And you know what? If I'm not hitting the 55, 60-yard ball, they still can't return it. So, it's just one of those things. I'm just asking for an opportunity. That's all it is. I know for a fact, I got my family, my fiance, I got all my friends back home, this is inspiring to them. I'm going out on a whim. I'm doing this, I mean, I'm putting my reputation on the line. I can go in there, I can get the opportunity, and I can completely fall on my face and fail. And that will be the last time, I'll ever be granted an opportunity like that if that's what happens. But, you got to roll with the punches and, take what you get. And if I can get that opportunity, I know I will succeed. And I just really hope that he can have the faith in me for 1 punt, 3 punts, or 5 punts, just something enough to get my foot in the door and something that I can prove myself to McDaniel and the rest of the Dolphins coaching staff and the players. And I mean, the same situation as when I was at MT, I just walked in there. I didn't have any friends on the team. Everybody's been with each other for a month or 2 months, depending on if they're at summer workouts. I'm going to be walking in there probably looking like, I'm wearing a clown mask. I mean, I can't imagine I'd be
until they see that foot hit the ball.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I played with Big Rob, and I mean, I'm just asking for an opportunity. That's really all it is. I'm not doing any of this. I didn't do this to go viral. I didn't do this, this promote anything. I'm just promoting myself. Like, I just want an opportunity to go out there and do what I've been doing for the past 2 years, chase that opportunity that's eluded me, and just put my hat in the ring. I mean, if they like what they see, then, I mean, by all means, I will. If I could play for free, I'm not doing it for the money. The money's great. I just want to go out there and prove I can hang with 1 out of 32.
Don't tell your fiance that. We'll edit this later. Don't worry.
She knows I would do it for a nickel on end, but I mean, it's just the opportunity.
Don't tell Chris Greer that either, because he will pay you.
He will offer you a nickel.
Hey, I would have put it on the thing, but I know they got the league minimum for a reason. They would have guys out there playing for free if that was the case.
Yeah.
One quick question. Did I hear this correctly? You plan on sitting out there every day for 12 hours, 6 to 6?
That's the plan. I was thinking about at some point grabbing lunch in between. That's cheating, I made a promise to myself to be out there 6 to 6. The only problem is where I originally set to be, I was able to get, food delivered there. Where I'm at now, I got relocated. I understand I was too close to the entrance. That's my bad. To the employee who asked me to move, I'm sorry I was even that close. I was in the wrong. I should not have been that close. I you know what? But I can't get food delivered there, so I'm going to have to pack some PB&Js and munch on those
Maybe we'll get
throughout
some
the day.
Dolphins Twitter guys to come and bring me some stuff. Don't worry.
Yeah, just toss it out the window as you drive by.
I mean, we probably could get somebody to drop you off food. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
that probably absolutely could work. We could actually, yeah.
We probably could at least get somebody to drop you off some food. But we do have another clip we wanted to show. I know that Eric's got it queued up here. It's the 69-yard punt you had. I think it was Hawaii, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Man, I wish I could watch this right now.
You couldn't even. They couldn't even pan the camera fast enough, man.
Did
He save that?
No, the first guy did this. The second and third guy.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I remember that one. I was thinking we got him on the one because what? Yeah, it's the second quarter. At that point, I think we had negative yards on offense, and special
Nice.
teams is what was keeping us in that game. Luckily, we're the island.
Oh my
Island
God! He did
champions.
save it on the first get, though.
Yeah, first guy did his thing.
That was a great time.
I'm just going off your guys' word at this point.
Yeah, sorry. For those just tuning in, Joe Robbie, he is in the Bahamas, and the Wi-Fi is not Americanized. So
Here for the
therefore,
views.
we can see him, but he can't see us. But yeah, I mean that's a hell of a punt, and Kyle, we just we definitely had to hear you and see what was going on today because that clip circulated. I mean, geez, that was before noon. I think that even got circulated.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was not expecting that even in the slightest. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't even going in there like that wasn't even that might exceed my expectation. I was thinking like maybe 50 retweets, like trying to patch together all my friends and their friends and everybody that they know to get 100 retweets. Like that's what I was going for. I was not even that was
Hey,
insane.
hopefully we can get Pat McAfee to see this interview, fellow punter, fellow.
Hey.
It's a fraternity. Listen, you never know, bro. You never know, man.
I looked up to him. My dad was the biggest Colts fan, and I remember watching that Super Bowl. Live at Buffalo Wild Wings, and my dad was happy as a clam when Peyton Manning got that ring. So, man.
So did you see any players today, or did you have any crazy interactions or anything?
No, I mean I saw all their really nice cars. Outside of that, I mean, I didn't touch base or see any of the players, face to face. I mean, I was across the street, so I mean, it would have been difficult, especially when they were in their cars. But no, I mean, it's just really cool, especially just chatting with you guys. I know you guys had, some really special guests and really important key players on the Dolphins, and it's just insane. You guys are talking to me. Like it doesn't. Considering I was up at 2 a.m. this morning driving up here, it doesn't feel like the events led to this today. It's still settling right now.
Well, dude, listen, man. Keep it chugging, brother. We wish you nothing but the best for real. Like,
thank you.
Very, very cool story. I'm actually privileged to be able to talk to you. I think this is super cool. Keep fighting the good fight, man. Seriously.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, you're doing something that just a lot of people, they wouldn't do. A lot of people wouldn't put this hard into it. A lot of people would just give up, take the easy route and all that. And I think that in itself is inspiring to see a real person, not just reading a book, not reading a story, seeing some guy in his car pulled over to the side of the road because he drove up at 2:30 a.m. How far is that trip? That's 3 hours, 4 hours from Key West up to Fort Lauderdale. It's probably even further than that. And, it's just inspiring to just that, to keep going, keep chugging and following what you think is right and what you think, your worth and everything. And that's incredible to us.
So, thank you.
Any last words, Baba?
Yeah, I think, it was just cool to, no matter where this leads, man, to see that you put yourself out there. You had the balls to go sit on a sidewalk with signs you made with your fiance, which shout out to her for being a ride or die and, helping you chase your dreams, man. That's big. That's really big. So no matter what, it sounds like you got an awesome wife in the future. And yeah, man, you stuck yourself out there. You're riding it out. You're still going to keep doing it. So
yes, sir.
Very, very proud of you, man. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, for real. You won the lottery with her already. And this is just extra.
Oh, I know. My friends remind me of that all the time, and they don't even have to because I just know she is just the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
And whether this turns out is signing with the Dolphins or signing with the Vancouver Grasshoppers, whoever, even if it, like you said, if it turns into nothing, you did it. You know that you gave it your all. You can
Yes, sir.
ride away in the sunset, knowing you put your last, hoorah out there, and you did everything you could. But we wish you the best. We're gonna continue to support you and gas you and share everything you do from here on out, and do what we can for sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I mean, seriously, thank you, guys.
All good, brother. Well, boys, Kyle Ulbrich, future NFL punter.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Speak it into existence.
We're going to manifest that, baby. Episode 7, everybody. Kyle Ulbrich. Follow him on Twitter. We put it up here on the screen. It's at Kyle_Ulbrich, his name. And hopefully we see you in the NFL one day.
Hopefully.
Take it easy,
Later,
everybody.
boys.
Thank you, guys.